This story is called Abuela's Weave by Omar Castaneda. That's the author who wrote the story, and it's illustrated by Enrique Sanchez. And as you see, they have lots and lots of yarn, and they're going to weave. And you're going to do some weaving for your home learning activity with straws. So let's find out about this weave. Pull back hard, old Abuela said. Make it jolt so the threads stay close. Yes, Abuela. Esperanza thrust the bolt through the open weave and pulled the bar down with all her might. Next to her, Esperanza's grandmother, her Abuela, also kneeled in front of a backstrap loom. Both looms were tied to the same tree in the middle of the family compound. Esperanza's mother fed the chickens and pigs behind the main thatched hut, while her father was off with her brother in the fields of corn, beans, and coffee. You're learning, Abuela said. Esperanza looked at her grandmother out of the corner of her eye. She knew that Abuela was nervous about the market. Her mother said that the hupalias and tapestries Abuela made could put the wonder right out of people. But these days, more and more goods were made by machines. Esperanza worried that people would tease Abuela about her birthmark, as some kids had once done. They had started a rumor that she was a witch, and now many people were frightened to buy things from her, which is not very nice to tease people about birthmarks or anything that's different. And as you see, they're making it by hand, and they were talking about how machines usually make things now, but this is nice how they're making it by hand. Daydreaming again, Abuela asked. Yes, Abuela. Well, the old woman said gruffly, get busy because there are too few days left. You still have a lot of work to do, and there will be many other people selling the same things you have. Don't worry, Abuela, I'll be busy until we leave. And she was. Esperanza and her grandmother worked from early mornings, even before the sun rose, to help pass sunset. When the moon rose and the compound fire gave everything the rich smell of pine, they showed no one their work, not even Esperanza's mother, because it was a special thing that they wove. They wanted to wait for the Fiesta de Pueblos in Guante to reveal it. So it's going to be a surprise, and they're working so hard, they're even working at nighttime. Soon the day arrived. Bright with sun, the leaves glistening from the previous night's rain, it seemed like a good omen for Esperanza and her grandmother. Abuela appeared disguised as a woman in mourning, dressed in black. She wrapped a long black shawl around her shoulders and across her face that only her eyes appeared to the world. Esperanza, however, wore her favorite hupalo. It was a white blouse with red, blue, and green threads and the rectangular collar right here. Under that, the colors bled into silver and blue, and hidden within the intricate designs of the blouse were tiny quetzals, flying free in the threads the way they once flew in the great forests of Guatemala. So it looks like little birds on her shirt. She carried on her head a large straw basket full of hupalas, tablecloths, skirts, and special tapestry. Esperanza walked steadily down the dirt avenue, so she had to balance very carefully carrying that big bag. When the bus came, Abdullah did not even help lift the heavy basket to the boys who strapped bags onto the roof of the bus. Inside, they sat 3 seats apart as if they were strangers, people living in different villages, people with no ancestors in common. So nobody was talking to each other on the bus. Everyone was very quiet. When they arrived, the noise in the city was deafening. Large buses roared down the roads. Esperanza walked quickly, and the basket steady upon her head. There she is. Her mind trying to focus away from the commotion and onto the stalls set up. So she's heading to where the stalls are, where she can sell all the things she made. She walked furiously, zigzagging to get down where the noise was less. When she suddenly stopped to see if Abuela was still falling behind, she looked for a familiar face among the heads, the baskets, the helmets and hats. She wanted to catch just the sight of her grandmother's shawl. So there she is, still carrying him, trying to find her grandmother. The stalls were already filled with Esperanza arrived. Old men and women nearby shooed her away or ignored her when she asked for help. So maybe because she's a young girl and they didn't know her, but she was trying to ask for help and no one was helping her, which isn't very nice. At last, all she could do was set her basket between the narrow slats of the two stalls. On one side, a family with Antigua sold pottery. The woman on the other side sold long bolts of cloth, musical instruments. Everything was beautiful. Esperanza thought. She thought that no one would buy anything that she made, so she was a little bit insecure and was afraid that no one wanted to buy the things that she made by hand. Esperanza sadly took out her wares to hang them one by one. She felt terribly alone. Even her poor Abdullah was nowhere to be seen. The people slowly noticed, and they pointed at the elaborate weaving. Tourists and Guatemalans alike drew closer to her tiny place and looked up with wonder at her beautiful work. So everyone was, when she was hanging everything, went over to see all the beautiful things that she made. The large tapestry blossomed with images of Guatemala. Esperanza and Abdullah had worked in intricate symbols of the country's history. So all this tells a story on the tapestry she made. In Esperanza's hands, the tapestry colors were bright as the sun. People turned from the commercial stalls to stand before Esperanza's complex weaving. When she looked up, Esperanza saw Abdullah with her smile across her face. It didn't take long for all their work to be sold. The people were disappointed when everything was gone. So everybody loved her stuff and they bought everything. And on the way back to Santa Cruz, grandmother and granddaughter sat side by side. Esperanza's smooth fingers held tightly in Abdullah's wrinkled old hands. So they were so happy going back home that everybody loved their stuff, their handmade stuff. So they were very happy.